This past Sunday, the Patriots played, well, honestly, like they had a little too much turkey. To put it simply, they were lackluster and lethargic, kind of like me after my second helping of Thanksgiving dinner. But all the turkey talk aside, there were some glaring offensive issues that arose during their matchup with the Texans, and it has Patriots Nation up in arms. Although I'm a little surprised that everyone's so shocked by all of this, considering Tom Brady has been foreshadowing a lot of these issues pretty much the whole season. But in true New England fashion, the blame game has begun, some blaming the receiving corps, others the coaching staff, and some putting the blame solely on Tom Brady, saying he went from the goat to a sheep overnight. But in the wise words of Brady himself, they're 10-2, not 2-10. So I think it's time to adopt the Patriots way and move on to the Chiefs. So, in the spirit of moving on, let's break down what didn't work against the Texans and what relatively reasonable changes the Patriots could make in a week to fix those issues heading into their matchup against the Chiefs. From scheme to execution, the Patriots offense needs to get back to basics and on the same page. In the first 44 minutes of the matchup, the offense only put up a field goal, Brady completed less than 50% of his passes, and his receivers caught 45% of their targets against an iffy secondary. It's the reason Brady was visibly frustrated Sunday at the offense's essentially non-existent chemistry, passionately telling his receivers they need to be much quicker off the line to get the necessary separation, which is not a crazy concept. That's receiver 101, something each of Brady's receivers failed at some point against Houston. First, it was rookie mistakes. N'Keal Harry was schooled on a simple slant. That turnover turned into a Texans TD. And fellow rookie Jacoby Myers struggled to get on the same page as Brady on multiple occasions. Even Philip Dorsett ran to the wrong spot. He couldn't break free from the Texans' mediocre coverage, basically non-existent until the fourth. Edelman drew 2 penalties, and Mohamed Sanu dropped a must-get 4th and inches snap after failing to run his route deep enough. But it's not just the receiving corps that's nowhere near playoff ready. Brady wasn't at his prime either. He missed key throws in the first, and in addition to his early pick, he threw 3 more passes that were nearly intercepted. His 36.8 completion percentage matched the lowest first half in his 20-year career. And keep in mind, this was all against a weak Texans pass defense who ranks 30th in interceptions and 27th in sacks per pass attempt heading into the Patriots matchup. But these issues sound more daunting than they actually are. Missing calls and running the wrong route aren't season-ending blows. So with that being said, what should their offensive game plan be against the number 1 seed in the AFC West? Well, first things first, go back to the run. Looks like it's time to revisit that good old ground and pound. Kansas City ranks 30th in run defense, and they rank 17th in passing defense, so this one seems like a no-brainer. And I mean, just this past Sunday, the Chiefs allowed 122 yards against the Raiders. Plus, old reliable James Sweetfeet White ran for a season-high 79 rushing yards and 8 catches for 98 yards and 2 TDs against Houston, despite drawing double teams on third downs and defensive back coverage, proving he's more than capable of carrying the Patriots' running game on his back. Plus, Sony Michel was pounding through heavy personnel last Sunday until he was randomly sidelined. Which leads me to number 2. It's time to scheme around surrounded, trustworthy vets. It's obvious who Tom Brady's 2 trustworthy targets are, Julian Edelman and James White. But James White, like I just said, was still a star against the Texans despite tight coverage, and Edelman still had 6 catches for a game-high 106 receiving yards and a touchdown while drawing doubles. So if the Pats can scheme up even a few big red zone plays using other very capable veteran guys like Sanu or Ben Watson, they'll be in much better shape, which leads me to my next point. Don't forget Ben Watson, who Brady doesn't go to often, but when he does, he executes big time. He broke a tackle and made a vital 32-yard gain, converting a 3rd and 17 deep on his lone reception against the Texans during the Patriots' first touchdown drive. Now that's not something to ignore. And something else not to ignore is Brady's pressure rate. The offensive line needs to step up and relieve pressure. It's gotten better, but Brady was affected on 36% of his dropbacks against Houston, well, minus 4 times he held onto the ball too long. Easing pressure is crucial for Brady, especially right now with offensive chemistry issues. And with these offensive chemistry issues comes the need for better coaching. The Patriots were simply outcoached last Sunday. Offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels blew off a revved-up run game for no reason, even with Sony Michel and James White thriving through heavier personnel. Now, although these aren't huge adjustments, a week is a stretch for Brady and company to pull together a game plan that can successfully shoot out against the league's best quarterback with his arsenal of high-profile, high-powered weapons. So now the big question is, can the Boogeymen contain one of the league's most dynamic offenses, knowing that their own offense probably won't be able to hold up their end of the bargain? Well, it's a tall order to single-handedly take down the Chiefs' three-headed monster in Mahomes, who's having a monster season with 20 touchdown passes, averaging 8.5 yards per pass attempt, with his two key offensive weapons, Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. And what makes this even a taller order is the only two times the Patriots have given up more than 14 points so far this season, it's been against MVP quarterback candidates. So to wrap things up here in Foxborough, yes, there are a lot of unknowns heading into this Chiefs matchup, but the one thing we do know based on history is that the Patriots thrive against the odds. Just when people start to say their reign is over, they come back big time. Until game time, reporting from Foxborough, Alexi Iafrato, the Boston Herald.